Avery, whose show is this? And we're live. Welcome everybody here to the Lakers Lounge Podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin, Senior Lakers Insider, as well as lead Lakers content creator for Offside, joined on this fine ass Sunday by you guys. I am here recording. We're going to have some fun with that game last night. We're going to answer some questions. I should have had a beverage for this episode, decided against it. But holy hell, the Lakers beat the Denver Nuggets last night, 125 to 127. And their latest best win of the year, right? You have the Knicks win, and then you follow that up with the Minnesota win, and then you follow that up with this win. At one point, the Lakers led by 18. They kind of squander that lead, get down by 8 late. You're thinking, not again. And then they pull it out somehow, some way. Austin forces overtime. They survive a couple of haymakers during overtime from the Nuggets, and Luka ends it late. Holy crap, what a win. And so today we're going to be, honestly, we're going to be spending a lot of time on that game. And I'm probably not going to do like a full-on mailbag episode this one. I'll probably save that for later in the week, just because there is so much to talk about, regarding that game. But still, hit me with questions over the course of the show. Hit me with comments over the course of the show. And I will get to as many of those towards the back half of the show as I can. But man, holy crap. I wanted to go live last night, but we went over to a friend's house and I had a couple of glasses of wine. And I didn't want to hop on here and I don't think I would have, but I didn't want to risk sounding like an idiot. So I wound up holding off, and it was actually kind of nice because I got to FaceTime my folks. I don't normally get to talk to them after a big game like that. And so I guess technically speaking, they got the immediate reaction podcast on a more individual basis, like they used to before I started doing this. But it was just so much fun talking to them and just kind of reliving moments in the ways that we do. And it kind of really hammered home how much I love being able to do this, because it's I wind up, or Trevor or Pete or Jovan or whoever winds up, kind of serving as that person you FaceTime immediately after the game. And it was a kind of a special moment there. Incredibly special game. The crowd was amazing. You could hear it through the TV, how into it everybody was. It was amazing. Just an unbelievable game that the old TNT crew tried to shit on afterward. I'm not even going to address them in any long way. I think they're losers who just need to go retire. But man, holy crap, what a game. Let's talk about the game. Let's relive some of those moments. Let's talk about some of the lessons from that game, answer some questions, and then go on about the rest of our weekend. A quick reminder, please hit us with the like button at some point over the course of the show. And then go ahead and subscribe to the show and turn on those notifications for whenever we are live. If you guys are listening to this in the morning via podcast, please subscribe to the pod wherever it is that you get them, preferably on Odyssey, but anywhere counts. And let's go ahead and dive on in. I pulled a few clips here. The three, I know it's cliche at this point, but the big three coming through in their own specific ways was amazing. We'll start with LeBron's incredible hustle play.
Murray, cross court, Johnson, three-pointer. Won't go, long rebound. James dives on the floor, Murray dives on him, and a held ball. Great hustle from both players.
Two things really stand out for me in that clip. One, obviously, holy crap, LeBron. That was like a Dennis Rodman-esque dive that Christian Brown and Jamal Murray, I think we're anticipating, the the way that the Lakers have been playing in a lot of their matchups, which was like, we could probably get to the loose ball faster than they did. Then all of a sudden they see LeBron diving, like, oh, what? It was amazing. Just an unbelievable LeBron play. And the other thing that stood out to me from that video was Jamal Murray is wide open on the baseline there and was so deep in his own head. Jamal finished 1 of 14 in that game and was so bad over the course of the game that he had a wide open shot 12 feet away from the basket on the baseline side, and instead tried to skip pass it out to Cam Johnson, who has been a very disappointing player for them. Played a little bit better for them last night, right? 4 of 10 from three-point range, was a plus 15 in the game. But yeah, Jamal, like, passing up that shot was unbelievable. That was yippish. Like, from, it looked like he had the yips on that play. And then you have LeBron diving for the ball like that. And I don't know if your guys' heads went to the same place mine did over the course of, the last 12 hours or so since the game ended. But that's not the kind of play that you make if you're thinking about your next gig, right? Like, that's not the play that you make if you have a foot out of the door. And I know that a lot of the conversation about LeBron is, well, this is just like the last couple of months with him. And then I know that the conversation from some of the fan base has been like, man, thank God this is the last couple of months with this guy. But since he's come back, he has played the way that he needs to play, as I told you was I thought going to happen, where he saw while he was out, all right, Luka, Austin, they're our offensive engines. They have our offense. They can generate enough offense. I can fill in the gaps offensively, but what the Lakers really need from me, what my team really needs from me, is the kind of athletic plays that I can still somehow make at 41 that my teammates can't, that Luka and Austin can't. And it was that play, just again, just unbelievable. Look at the extension here.
Murray, cross court, Johnson, three-pointer. Won't go, long rebound. James dives on the floor, Murray dives on him, and a held ball. Great hustle from both players.
Also smart by LeBron to, oh man, it probably really did hurt. I'm not going to lie. At 41 years, if I dove like that, I would break a collarbone. I would just I would look like one of those beached whales that you see that like everybody's really sad about all the time. My kids would be like, Daddy, are you okay? No, man, I'm never moving ever again. But it was also like smart from LeBron to make that dive, make that play, grab his elbow, grab his head, roll around on the floor, get himself a bit of a break because everybody was exhausted. One of the things that really stuck out for me in that game, and again, it's such a bummer that it was ESPN carrying that game and not Amazon or not NBC, two platforms that actually celebrate the sport. But what really stood out to me in watching, and then especially in rewatching the game, holy shit, those teams were playing hard. They're flying around defensively. They are at any moment that like a team just took their foot off the pedal, even a little bit, the other team just immediately, boom, like exactly knew which punches to throw, knew how to hit, executed those punches. That's why you had those wild swings. You had the Lakers go way up, and then you had the Nuggets climb their way up and then take that 8-point lead late. And then you had the Lakers so quickly close that gap and force overtime. And then you had the back and forth in the overtime. It was played at such an incredible level. And honestly, I think Austin said something about this after the game, that you have this 40-year-old man diving on the floor like that. It makes us say, well, shit, I got to play that hard too. And that's all it's unfair to, that LeBron sets that tone or whatever, but that's how this works, right? Like, these guys really look up to LeBron. And if LeBron is playing that kind of hard, everybody is going to play that kind of hard. And man, what an incredible play. Now, the next one on the list is obviously Austin's just unbelievable play that you never see work. So let's go ahead and watch this play. This is unreal.
Reaves hits it off, gets it back. Reaves on the drive, he puts it up. It's good! It's good! Ties the game with 1.9 remaining. No timeouts for Denver.
Unreal. All right, so I was having this debate with my dad after the game last night, and I'm of the opinion that that was actually a designed play, that the Lakers thought or knew that Jokic was going to be given, because in the NBA, you have to have, 2 guys on one side and 3 guys on the other. Like, that is how it's been for ever, really. I saw Nuggets fans were like angry at David Adelman that they didn't have another guy down there. It's illegal. You can only have, 3 defensive rebounders and 2 offensive rebounders there. And so I think the Lakers figured that Denver was going to have Jokic on the one-on-one side, and then, Aaron Gordon and like Christian Brown on the 2-man side. And if and so basically the Lakers said, we're going to put our biggest dude on that one-man side, one-on-one side, and have Ayton pin down Jokic, kind of like a Gortat screen, just pin down there, and then have Austin throw the ball. And all the credit in the world to Austin for actually executing this. There's I made this. I'll go ahead and add it to the queue here. But there's a great view from behind, looking at behind of where Austin needed to, what he needed to do, his margin for error there. But I'm pretty sure that, Ayton pins Jokic down. Austin shoots it off of the front of the rim left to that one-on-one side, then has a free path, not just to the basketball, but also to the basket, because Ayton is still setting that Gortat screen. And then Austin has a wide open floater on the left side of the basket. Here's, I made this because I just love these commercials when I was growing up as a kid. So I made this. This is like those old Where Amazing Happens commercials of that play. Unreal. That was so awesome. That view from behind where you see, again, like, that is so hard to do. And so I don't think I'm getting myself into trouble here, but I texted Austin's agent this morning. I was like, damn, I'm still buzzing about that play. And apparently he says that he'll shoot with Austin, and Austin will say, yeah, I'm going to put the ball on this side of the basket. I'm going to make it on this side of the basket. I'm going to switch this one. I'm going to do this. I mean, all these NBA players are just incredibly skilled. But I think Austin in particular, and it really kind of reminded me, said this to Aaron too, it reminded me of a golf shot where you'll see this in golf. I don't know, there's not very many probably golf fans in here, but in golf, what you'll see some of these guys do is they'll use, it's called a backstop in golf terms, but they'll hit the ball onto the green with enough backspin into the slope, and it'll, you could then use the slope if the green's on the front side, if the pin is on the front side of the green, you could use that slope to bring your ball back down to the hole with more margin for error. And it reminded me of that. Like, it reminded me of Austin. Like, all right, if I hit this part of the green exactly perfectly, ball's going to bounce exactly like this. Also felt like a pull shot too, right? But just felt like it's going to carry him this way. And I'm going to be able to, and he knew, and also, like, watch Austin on this play, because I think the hardest thing to do in this play from the shooter's perspective, aside from actually executing the shot, is staying at the free throw line. Watch this one.
Reaves hits it off, gets it back. Reaves on the.
You see how he's moving, but his foot like doesn't actually cross and touch on the other side of the line until the ball hits the rim. And it's absolutely vital that that's the case on a play like this, where referees are going to be looking for that, right? They know that the Lakers need to miss a free throw intentionally here. They know that the tendency on those kinds of plays is the offensive, the shooter crosses that line a little too early, and it winds up costing the incredible play that winds up getting made. In this one, Austin hits it off the rim, waits just long enough, gets to the ball. And then I'm telling you this right now, I would love to, ask Austin, you have a 3-foot floater, a shot that you've probably made millions of times. I would love to know what is going through your head on that one, because you're like, it's just outside of like the brainless, mindless layup that you can often make. That floater is just like, you don't want to short arm it, you don't want to shoot it long, you don't really have an angle to use the backboard. You have to just float this one over, and you have the whole arena going nuts. You have pandemonium on the court. You have you actually executed the play. So in the back of your head, you're probably thinking like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. And I got to make it, and he did. And that obviously sends the game into overtime, which went back and forth. Aaron Gordon knocked down like a step back 3-pointer that I was just like, come on, man. And that overtime leads to final possession. Luka's doubled. Denver had a foul to give. They don't use it. And man, what a play that Luka makes. So it was kind of crazy watching the way that this one kind of broke down, the Luka play. And I think the Lakers anticipated that the Nuggets were going to try to foul and force the Lakers to run a set all over again. Now with like less time on the clock. And they, obviously that's not how it played out. And Luka took care of the rest.
Spencer Jones on him. Here's the double. Doncic on the drive. Step back. Puts it up. Puts it in. With 5/10 of a second remaining. Lakers.
Unreal. Like, that is not like what I love about that shot is because I'm of the opinion that a pull-up mid-range jumper is the prettiest play that you can make in basketball. It's just, you get to your spot, you elevate. It was my favorite thing that Kobe was amazing at was, you get to your spot. I personally love watching it when a guy is dribbling to his strong side and you have to get that shoulder turn in there and you elevate that much more because you're jumping off of often your stronger foot. Guys elevate. There's usually like a little fade to it. And that game winner was such like a throwback where it's just get to my spot and a bit of a shove, right? Like just enough of a shove that, that the referees didn't catch, thank goodness. And he elevates just enough and gets it off, gets an incredibly clean look, knocks it down. And it was funny because twice after Austin makes his, free throw misplay, Jamal Murray had an attempt from like 3/4 court that looked good for like way too long, right? And it winds up hitting the other side of the rim. But from our view where we could see it, I'm like, no fucking way. Oh, thank God, right? Yeah. And then after that, the Nuggets inbound the ball. I think it was like Tim Hardaway Jr. was the one who caught the unfortunate grenade. I think Luka got up and got a hand on the ball. No foul called. Ayton gets the rebound. But even still, like as the shot is being released, you're like, oh God, okay, all right, cool, we're good. And the Lakers wind up winning. And yeah, I just think there's something, it's like, I believe in the sports gods. I believe in like the game within the game or the game that extends beyond the game. But it reminded me, or it just kind of, it serves as that reminder that like, if the Lakers are going to be as good as we want them to be, it's going to take all three of those guys in different ways on any given night being incredible. And they were, right? You look at the final tally, you have Luka going for a 30-point triple-double. He goes 30, 13, and 11, 10 of 26 from the floor, 4 of 14 from three-point range, 6 of 9 from the free throw line. Luka, please make your free throws. And then you had Austin. He scored 32 to lead all scorers. He was 12 of 21 from the field, 3 of 8 from three-point range, 5 of 6 from the free throw line. The one miss, obviously, from the free throw line was the one that I'm going to keep on replaying all the time. 7 boards, 6 assists, a steal and a block. And then LeBron, 17 points, 6 boards, 5 assists, a couple of steals. Did have the 5 turnovers, which I think is going to be something that, the Lakers are still going to be dealing with. I think on any given night, one of those guys are going to have a high turnover game just because they're probably playing a role that they weren't quite ready for that night or prepared for that night or just not quite used to. But I thought since LeBron has come back, he's been super active on defense. He's been the kind of physical that the Lakers need the person at that position to be. And yeah, I mean, tone setting plays like that one, diving on the floor like that. You could see it in the arena, the way that fans reacted to it. Panning over to the bench, you could see the way that the guys on the bench reacted. It was like, oh, it's like that, huh? And it was like that. God dang it. It was like that. What a game. Gosh, I might rewatch it again after we're out of here. I'm just having so much fun talking about it. The other guy that I wanted to talk about here is Ayton. We'll get back to the big three here in a second, but Ayton, look, I'm the guy who said I thought he quit on the team, the game that he subbed out actually against the Nuggets, right? I'm the guy who has questioned this guy's winning ability or winning attitude and habits and all that stuff. There are always, I think, going to be those questions remaining about this guy, but you also, like, if I'm going to, I always used to, like, as a coach, I was the kind who, like, if I'm going to be in as a dad, this is how I am too. If I'm going to yell or raise my voice or get angry at the kids, I also have to bring the same energy on the other side of things, where if they do something really good, I really have to praise them and make it known, positive reinforcement. What you just did was good. We want more of that. And Ayton in this game was unbelievable. And I know that the numbers aren't really going to back it up, right? You look at the final numbers, only 9 points, only 9 rebounds, a couple of assists, but he had a block shot and he was a +1 playing in a game against the best player in the world, still for my money, in Nikola Jokic, and was as physical as the Lakers needed him to be. And it's been, I've said it on the pod. I got a lot of comments since the game that I think people are really kind of realizing this. The Lakers, and this is a terrifying thing to say, the Lakers, I don't know if they are only going so far as Ayton can take them, or they are only as good as Ayton is on any given night. But when Ayton is at his best, whether it's statistically or in terms of engagement, in physicality, in force, when he's at his best, the Lakers are at their best. And when he isn't very good, it requires a lot to go right to make up for it, right? You need a really good Jackson Hayes game. You need a really good, like, Jared Vanderbilt game, or Maxi Kleber, whoever, like, the third-ish center would be. You need Austin or Luka to be incredible, or LeBron to be that much better to make up for it. But if Ayton is, and again, it didn't require 30 and 20 from Ayton. It's just like, compete, make Jokic know that you're there, apply pressure with offensive rebounding. He grabbed 4 offensive rebounds in this game, and those are just extra possessions in a game that went to overtime, in a game that the Lakers only won by 1 possession. Those 4 extra possessions really, really matter, and it's one of those things that, if the Lakers, again, if we want, I still am, I've been frustrated at times over the course of the season by the front office not really believing in this team. But like, if I were on this team or if I was in that locker room, I would just be telling guys, hey, prove the front office wrong. Prove idiots like that Anthony Irwin guy wrong. And in this game and since the All-Star break, really, they have done just that. It's been so fun to watch. These are the episodes I really prefer. If I'm going to rant and I'm going to rave, if I'm going to get, all kinds of excited, I would much rather talk like this about a game that the Lakers won than rant and rave and whine about things that I wish the Lakers were doing better. Let's talk about the big 3. And, I should have pulled up their stats, since the All-Star break. They're out there. But the thing that stands out to me is, one, I think they're in the positive overall on the season, as a trio, which, baby steps, but given where they were at various points this season, that really, really matters. So the big 3 moving into the positive overall is, I think, a really big deal. The fact that they are moving into the positive on the second half of the season, where the schedule got a lot tougher, I think that is also worth noting, right? This game against the Nuggets, and basically since LeBron came back, we have seen the blueprint, right? We have seen the style of play that is necessary from all 3 of those guys. Luka is the engine first and foremost to the team. Austin is, a secondary engine, or if you want to think of it like a hybrid car, right? Like he can be the electric part of a hybrid car that really get, once you're up to speed, just kind of takes over. And then LeBron is the brakes and the steering and everything that, the little things that require force and discipline and engagement. LeBron handles those things. And watching the Lakers, hopefully piece this together, and hopefully, and look, progress isn't linear. Like, they might drop a game here and there where those guys are kind of stepping on each other's toes and stuff like that. And I thought over the course of that game, we saw moments like that. And one thing that I think, on the kind of somewhat negative side of things is, one thing that game really taught us was, look, the Lakers can be excellent when they are playing the way that they need to play, but the gap between their ceiling and floor is huge. And if they aren't playing the way that they need to play, with the pace and the force that they need to play, and with the organization that they need to play with, they are not very good. So there are going to be moments, there are going to be games where the Lakers look like they did while they were surrendering that lead and falling behind. But now that, the proof of concept is there, and they've now won whatever it is, 5 in a row and a couple in a row since LeBron came back, and they're beating good teams, that way, having that proof of concept, having that practice swing that you can execute, that is that is absolutely monstrous here for the Lakers moving forward, and gives us so much more hope than had they beaten the Nuggets behind a LeBron 50 piece, right? It would have been great. Would have been really cool throwback game. But to me, winning this way with those guys filling their specific roles, or those specific roles, and everybody else kind of, I thought Marcus Smart was fantastic, and really gave Jamal Murray problems all over the court. And I thought, just in general, Jake LaRavia, I think is also worth mentioning here. he was of the bench players, he was the only guy in the positive. And I think like his overall energy is something that the Lakers really need. That was an amazing game. And those three guys, Luka, LeBron, and Austin, kind of figuring out where they fit and what that puzzle looks like. And it's an amoebic puzzle, right? There are going to be some games where Austin doesn't quite have it and LeBron needs to step up. There are going to be games where Luka doesn't quite have it and LeBron and Austin need to step up. And there are going to be games where LeBron doesn't have it and Luka and Austin are going to have to combine for 60 or whatever it is. Watching this kind of come together has been really fun, and can't wait to see where it goes from here. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some of your comments here, and let's see. All right, so Alicia Clark, yes, I like to highlight the members of the lounge community here on the on YouTube. So thank you for joining and sticking with us. Yeah, I know, Alicia. I should have gone live, but it was like legitimately fun to talk about that game with my dad, and because my dad is a maddening person, argue with him about whether that was a designed player that was Austin going rogue and missing that free throw. I'm pretty sure. I am like 95% sure that was a design play, but I'm curious what you guys think. Let's see. The first super comment that we have. Liv became a YouTube member. Thank you for doing that. We have a super comment here there we go, which means I get to play this one. Also get to play this one because Jokic looks a little pudgy out there. All right. The question, the first super that we got here is from Yep, She's Right. Yep, She's Right. Writing, Braun, Luka, and AR are officially a big three to me. Yeah, I mean, look, in terms of what they're going to be making moving forward, starting next year, they're definitely a big three. But look at it this way. Like, Austin would have been an all-star if he hadn't gotten hurt, right? He was on his way to an all-NBA season before he got hurt. So if you have Austin as an all-star / all-NBA player, and you have Luka as, I think, a first team, like, absolutely insane that before, in the run-up to that game, there was a debate online as to whether or not Luka is a first-team all-NBA player. Absolutely insane that anybody wouldn't think so. But Luka's a first-team all-NBAer. Austin is, I think, would have qualified, or had he played enough games, would have been in that conversation for all NBA. And then the other guy is LeBron bleeping James. Like, of course, like that, and a LeBron James at a point in his career where he is more open to doing some of the small things that is necessary from the third member of a big three. So, and what's kind of unique for the Lakers here is cap wise, they still have the flexibility to employ a pretty good team around those guys as well. That's why I was of the opinion, because I had a feeling that, like, if the Lakers were going to be as good as they could be, they needed Austin to kind of cement himself in that big three category of player. And if you got that kind of a season from Austin at $14 million a year, you have to take advantage of that season. And that's why, like, the deadline kind of bothered me the way that it did. Because you look at this team, and the number of times I've had to say this on the show, but you look at this team, imagine this team with, like, one more really good rotation player, right? A Sadiq Bey, even, like, not even counting Herb Jones, or not even counting Trey Murphy, right? Guys whose prices were way too high. But, like, imagine if they would have gone out and traded for a Claxton, or if they would have traded for a Wiggins, or guys like that who slot everybody one spot down in the rotation and give you that many more high level rotation minutes. Like I would think that they would belong in the championship conversation. And now they might just be able to do that anyway. I think the margin for error obviously is a lot smaller, but they are 100% a big three. And again, a big three that has over the course of the season learned to play together. And that is another thing that like really intrigues me about this as a big three crew, because we still aren't seeing, I think, enough of, sets where Luka as the primary creator sets the table for LeBron or sets the table for Austin or sets the table for LeBron, who then sets an even better table for Austin and goes and Austin gets to take advantage of an even more compromised defense, right? And really starts that, takes advantage of the blender. Those are the things that, from here to the end of the season and to here to the beginning of the playoffs, that I think the Lakers are going to be working on next. And that's where we see this team take another step forward. I can't wait to watch. I should have taken my allergy meds before I came on here. All right. So the next one comes from Intel is Wild. Fuck Boston. I'll play it again. I'll do it for you guys. Fuck Boston! A Lakers Celtics championship series isn't completely out of the question. Like, I probably wouldn't bet on it, or I would need to get astronomical odds for it, but it could happen. The next question here comes from Machu. Anthony, you have been so down on this team organization so long that I forgot what enthusiasm looks like on you. I'm telling you, man, like it was funny. Yesterday, there was a conversation on Twitter that I participated in about like what drives engagement and this notion that like negativity is the thing that drives engagement in within the Lakers fan base locally. And for whatever reason, now I think on national podcasts, talking shit on the Lakers is, I think, a pretty well treaded path to engagement and generating revenue and all that stuff. So I do think there is something to that nationally, but locally, and this is the case not just for the Lakers, but for every team and every local podcast and every local paper or whatever, positivity is really what drives engagement. And more important than positivity, because like people want it to like it needs to be genuine positivity. There needs to be a reason for the positivity. And you look at the viewership total right now, right? The people watching live right now, 170 people watching. That's basically what we've been cruising at for this episode. Normally it's at like 40 or 50. And you know why? Because the Lakers just won a huge game, because the Lakers are on a 5-game winning streak, because the Lakers are learning to play together and they're making this real and important progress. And I would love to think that I am charismatic and smart enough to kind of game the system and get engagement no matter what. But no, at the end of the day, sports fans tune in when their team is good, because it's an entertainment industry and people want to tune in and listen to people talk about their team in a way that gets them excited and brings the feel good. And when their team isn't good, rather than, there are some people who like to hear their team trashed when it calls for it. And you certainly get plenty of that on this channel. But normally when a team isn't playing very well, fans will just tune out. There's so many other avenues to be entertained, right? There's TV, there's music, there's other podcasts, there's silence, which when you become a parent becomes golden. Like there are so many other things that can kind of captivate your brain, instead of having to listen to somebody tell you that your team sucks. So that's usually what people sports fans tend to do. So with this, like, man, I love that we get to sit here and talk about the Lakers the way that we have today. I was really looking forward to this episode all morning. Like, I'm 2 hours ahead of people on the West Coast, so I was like, I probably shouldn't go live at 9 in the morning on a Sunday because people who watch that game on the West Coast are still drunk probably from that game. And so, like, yeah, I want more of this, right? And with Mark Walter buying the team, and if he brings that element of organizational stability that we've seen with the Dodgers, and he brings that over to the Lakers, and we get to have more conversations like this, that's what I'm here for. That's what I would really prefer to have happen. All right. Let's see. Next one here comes from Intelli's Wild again. Let's go, Lakers Nation. Absolutely. Lakers Nation, by the way, I got to give it up to the crowd again because there was a game, it was against Chicago that the Lakers were playing. And I'm watching, maybe it was Minnesota too, but I was watching, and I think even Doris Burke commented on it during the game. It was like, where are the, oh no, it was a Knicks game. She even noted, like, where are the fans here? Like, it's really quiet. And last night, though, that was not a problem. Last night was, you could hear it, and you could see it, because you guys probably know this already, but the way that the Lakers light up their arena is different from other arenas where they do the boxing lighting, where they turn off the lights or they really dim the lights in the crowd, in the audience, and they have everything spotlit on the court. And I would like for them to do away with it personally, because I think it affects shooting, and I think it can sometimes also kind of put the fans to sleep. But what that lighting setup does oftentimes is, like, you literally can't see, because I love seeing the reaction when something happens in a basketball game, right? I love seeing the people, and you could see it courtside, but rows back, people up on their feet, going crazy for whatever it is that just happened. I love seeing that in a game. And last night, the crowd was so good that despite that lighting setup, you could still see the reactions when LeBron made that play, when Austin made his play, when Luka hit that game winner, right? You could see the way that, Marcus Smart hit a huge three late, and you could see everybody like up on their feet, freaking out, because like, Marcus Smart, please. And he made it. It's like, oh, you made it, like that to me, like that crowd helped win that game. And it really serves as that reminder, I think, to everybody, like, just like with the Lakers, right? With the proof of concept with the big three, and there's now film of DeAndre Ayton being physical with Jokic that they can now kind of point back to and say, like, hey, we've seen you do this. You got to do that more frequently. I think the same can be said about Lakers fans too, where it's like, hey, this is what this game should feel and sound like. Whatever that bullshit was with New York, where like maybe Knicks fans bought too many of the tickets and they were getting blown out, so Knicks fans were really quiet, and Lakers fans didn't really kind of take over. Just like we saw with like the Boston game, right, where Jaylen Brown was getting MVP chance. Like, I know that, one, tickets are expensive, and that is a different conversation unto himself. And I know that at various points this season, it didn't look like a team that was worth believing in. But they're starting to look that way. And from here on out, I'm really hoping that the way that the crowd sounded for that game in that moment, and the amount of energy that they brought game in, game out, or play in, play out. Like, one thing that really stands out to me with good audiences and good crowds is when the team isn't playing well, rather than just kind of like clamming up and shelling up, there's sometimes this like almost like stubborn, no, come on, let's go, let an unwillingness to just like implode or or welcome the bad run that ends the game or something like that. I actually thought the crowd did a really good job of like trying to get the energy back in the building, even though it felt like the inevitable was happening again. And those are the things that, yeah, like that, the crowd was another huge element to that game. And they're going to have to be a big element here moving forward. All right. I think I am good. You know what? I'm going to play this one more time just because it was such a cool play. I love the bald dude. She's like, oh my God. Shouts to that guy. Just an unbelievable play. Just, what a game. All right. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Please turn on those notifications. Listen to the pod via podcast, wherever it is that you get your podcast, all of that good stuff. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Make somebody else's, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.